Embracing the football scene on the Rock of Gibraltar with Adam Roberts and Steve Brown.
Well, Adam, another week on the Gibraltar Footie Show, week 7. And for the listener, week 7, take 2.
Oh, yeah. Don't think you want to... Maybe you want to say what happened last night?
Well, what happened last night, we were, as we normally meet up on a Wednesday to broadcast and do the podcast, I tried to download it and somehow managed to wipe it off my Adobe Edition.
Oh my God, I thought you were joking at first, but obviously you're not now.
No, so we're sat here at lunchtime on a Thursday trying to rush this through and really just recapping on what we've already spoke about. But looking at the league table and looking at the way things are going at the moment, it's looking pretty good in the Premier, isn't it, with Red Imps winning again? Yeah,
I think everyone expected Lincoln to do a lot better than they did last season, and they're not disappointing anyone. So they played 7, won 7, and got a goal difference of 21. That is a lot better than everyone else. So I think if they push on to the next 2 games I think they have left, I think they would. They probably won it by Christmas.
Yeah, they're going to go into that Christmas break or that 2-month period full of confidence. Because you said they're already 8 points clear. If they can carry on winning the games, they're going to open up and no one's going to be able to stop them.
No, at all. From what I've seen this season, no one is really on their level. You would have thought that maybe St. Joseph's or Europa could have got something, but they've been below par this season. Gibraltar United showed last week or 2 weeks ago that they could battle it with the big boys, but again they didn't have that extra level to go and do something against Lincoln. But it should be interesting to see what happens now.
Certainly. I think what you notice with your big teams, your big teams are always capable of, playing bad and still getting a result.
Yeah, of course. Europa have shown that over the last few weeks that they've been poor and still managed to get results. Same happened with St. Joseph's when the season started. Their performances were very poor, but they still grinding out results.
And just having that consistency and being able to, just get it over the line when you're struggling in games.
I think that shows a lot of character at the team as well. I think if you can, it shows how good the team is. If even though you're not at your best, you can still win games.
And looking at some of the games, looking at the Glasses versus Gibraltar United, a fantastic result if you're a Glasses supporter.
Yeah, of course. Credit to them. They stuck to their game plan. They frustrated Gibraltar United as United ended up having two red cards. Obviously, one which was just absolutely stupid, getting yourself sent off in the first 35 minutes of the game for headbutting an opponent. It's let himself down, let his team down, and it's let the club down ultimately.
Yeah, and as you said, going down to 9 men, and then Glasses really just finishing the game off.
Yeah, like it's not like they played well or anything. You know what I mean? It was a very poor game. Both teams, obviously Gibraltar United, they weren't really going to do much when they went down to 10 men. Glasses didn't look that much of a threat going forward, but they had 2 chances and they scored both of them.
Yeah, and the other good result from last week was Mons Kelpie getting a 3-1 victory over St. Joseph's. Fantastic result.
Yeah, of course, a result I definitely didn't expect to happen, but St. Joseph's weren't very good on the day. Mons Kelpie were very good going forward. I think 2 of the 3 goals were counter-attacks, and really I think they were deserved winners at the end.
And as you were saying about, you were talking about links and talking about Europa. Really, you're talking. They're not playing good football. They're probably well below par as far as they're concerned, but they are starting to pick up the wins and get up that league table.
Yeah, they picked up a 2-0 win over Manchester yesterday. I think they scored two goals in the final 20 minutes. And again, it was maybe the performance wasn't there, but they carried on. They didn't give up. And in the end, they've walked away with three big points, which moves them up to third in the table.
Yeah, fantastic. And then just moving on to the second division from last week, some big games being played in the second division, and Europa getting a win against Boca.
Yeah, that was probably one of the biggest games of the season so far. Both teams are playing some real good football, but I think Boca don't really look the same team as when they've got Liam Clark in the middle. He brings a lot of Premier experience from his time at Manchester and Lincoln Red Imps. And when I saw him early on in the season, he was by far the best player on the pitch. It also doesn't help that their striker Alberto Valdiva is injured as well. He's just coming back from a long-term injury. So hopefully, when they got all their players fit, they can start challenging Europa, Cannons, and Angels. Yeah,
and it's great to see how Boca are, working out the social media side of things. They're in the crowd, they're having a laugh, and they seem to be enjoying themselves to the Boca faithful.
Yeah, they've got a good fan base. I know them personally from nights out and stuff, and they're a great bunch of guys. And what they're doing at the club on a social media aspect is
they're just having a laugh, aren't they? They're just enjoying themselves.
That's the main thing. And really, on a social media perspective, them and Magpies are probably one of the best in Gibraltar.
Yeah, and from second division clubs, that's pretty good.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, there's not a lot of money in second division. The teams there don't have the thousands and thousands of the Prem team, but all you need is a few hours a day to do social media. Like, come on, okay, everyone complains, we don't have enough time, but really, I think everyone can set themselves an hour a day just to post a good morning or a good evening here and there. So it's a lot of crap what teams come up with.
Yeah, certainly. And looking at the league table, Europa at the top, joint top with Cannons at the moment, and just below them Angels, and turned over by College 75.
Yeah, probably one of the biggest surprises of the season. I think everyone would have expected Angels to come away with a win there. Funnily enough, I was following the game on the GFA website, and I saw Cannons 1-0, and I thought it was one of these. They've updated the list too fast, and they forgot about Angels. But then about 2 hours later, when I saw the score was still the same, that's when I was very shocked.
Yeah, I was just going to say, but yesterday I had the chance of catching up with Jack Sargent, who's moved to the UK. He's currently playing with West Didsbury and Chorlton in the North West Counties League, and he seems to be enjoying his football in the UK at the moment, Adam.
Yeah, that's good on him. He's a player with a lot of potential. I know last year he kind of took a break from football. That's why one of the reasons why he wasn't in the squad for the World Cup qualifiers. But now seeing he got a move to Lincoln in the summer, he found himself a team in UK, and now I can only assume that he's working towards the Nations League in September.
Yeah, he certainly is, and as I said, I had the chance of catching up with him, and this is what he had to say to me.
Well, I'm chatting to Jack Sargent of Gibraltar and, of course, of West Didsbury and Chorlton. Thanks, Jack. Thanks for joining us this evening on the Gib Footie Show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You're in the UK, I believe. Are you currently studying in the UK?
Yeah, I'm currently in my second year at university. In my second year, and just signed for. It's going great. Yeah. Football-wise, I've just signed for West Didsbury about a month ago. It took a bit to get. I had to get my international clearance, so that took about 2 weeks to go through. So yeah, right. I've just been involved in the last 4 games now. So it's going good
with
now.
The international clearance, how does that work? What's the process that needs to take place?
I think the English, my West Didsbury had to send a letter to the English FA, and then they had to send it to the Gibraltar FA. Then they obviously clear it off and whatever, and send it back, and then just get approval and whatever. That took around a week and a half, I think it took to all get done. Right. Since I signed, so I had to wait a bit to get playing.
Because I was looking on social media, and were you signed with Red Imps initially?
I had an agreement at the beginning of the season, pre-season. Yeah. I did pre-season with him, but I didn't officially register, so I was a free agent, knowing I was going to come here and actually looking for a club. But yeah, I've done pre-season with them and trained and stuff with them.
And how did that go? Was it good to get pre-season?
Yeah, that was great.
And feel fresh,
really good.
Hit the ground running?
Yeah, it was great. Did the full pre-season with him. And yeah, really good with the manager, the players. It was good. Good preparation before coming here.
Well, West Didsbury are a team I know quite a lot about. We've been in the same neck of the woods as you, being in the northwest of England, and it's a good calibre, isn't it? The Northwest Counties Premier.
Yeah, it is. I was surprised. It is good players, good teams. I really enjoyed it so far. Club's been great. The secretary, all the players, the technical staff took me in well, and yeah, I've played 4 games so far, and it's been good. Good level, good players.
What were you expecting, Jack, coming into West Didsbury? Was it everything you expected, or were you quite shocked at the level and some of the calibre of some of the players?
No, I'd watched a few games before actually signing, and I trained with them a bit. And yeah, it's what I expected. Really good players. The type of football, it's more direct type of football than what we've got in Gibraltar. And I suppose good teams and players, like I said.
And I suppose from a national perspective, going back to international football, all being well, being selected in the future, it's certainly good for your game, because I think that's probably something we're lacking, is the physical aspect of the international game with the Gibraltar national team. Would you agree?
Yeah, you could say that, I guess. There's a few of us playing in England now, through university or other, like Liam's in League 2 and Jace is playing in the equivalent of the same league, I think, down south. And there's a few others, I think. And we definitely think it should help the national team, having players over here, experiencing the type of football over here.
Yeah. What are your plans moving forward then, Jack? Are you hoping to be knocking on the door again when the selection takes place?
Yeah, I definitely hope to be knocking on the door. I just want to get back playing now, getting back to full match fitness, and then go from there. I know the next game's in March, I think, so hopefully there's still quite time to get there, and so build it up and see what happens when we get to March.
Because I've been talking on the Gib Footie show in the last couple of weeks about some of the young players coming through, and the fact that a lot of the younger players on the Rock, rather than sitting on the bench, need to get out, don't they, and need to get some game time. Yeah,
definitely. I agree with that. Get as many games and minutes as you can. Definitely better playing somewhere and getting the matches in than just waiting around and seeing what's going to happen.
Yeah, because you just can't beat the experience of actually playing. It's all right in being training and keeping yourself fit, but it's not really a substitute, is it, for the real thing?
No, of course, definitely.
So what are your plans studying wise? Have you got another year to go after this in Manchester? Where are you actually based now?
I'm based in Manchester at the minute. I've got another. I can finish this year, and then I have an option to do a third year, which I'm not sure of. I'm still deciding what to do. So if I do stay, I'll carry on playing here, and if I go back, I'll play over there and see what happens.
Because what are you studying in the UK?
Fire and rescue management.
Right. So you is that all part of going back to the Rock, pursuing a career as a firefighter?
Yeah, hopefully it comes up in the future. Just wait and see what happens. Get it done first, and then go from there and see what happens.
Because them jobs are like rocking horse too, aren't they?
Yeah.
when they come up on the Rock, everyone keeps hold of them jobs because they don't. There's not many jobs come up. You have to wait for someone to retire.
Yeah, it's hard at the minute, but just get it done and see. Hope for the best and see what happens.
Have you managed to keep your eye on what's going on the Rock with the league? I know you've probably got a lot of friends, playing in the Gibraltar League. It seems it's certainly an interesting league this season for the neutral.
Yeah, it does. Lincoln have started really well, what I've seen, and then the other teams have been taking points off each other. Lincoln have got a bit ahead now, and it seems like all the other teams pretty even. A lot of them been taking points off each other, and Gibraltar had a good start now. And
they played some good football.
Just lost their last two, haven't they?
Yeah, they had the disappointment, didn't they, against Glasses this week, which was a bit of a shock, really.
Yeah, Europa haven't started very well, but it looks like Lincoln coming into the big. I think they've got a 2-month break starting in December because of the new pitch or something.
Yeah, the pitch and alterations going on at Victoria Stadium. So I suppose it might give some of the teams a chance to regroup and then come back fresh in February.
Yeah, and go again in January, February, got a lot of friends and social media and everything. And yeah, I keep an eye out on the league always.
Yeah. So did you have a game last night? Or was it postponed in the end?
No, we played in the end away at Winsford in the Macron Cup.
Yeah. How did you do?
We lost, but yeah, we were 0-0 at half time and we ended up 4-1, I think, second half. We didn't play very well in the second half, but we're missing a few players and yeah, we're not on a very good run at the minute, but hopefully we can turn it around. We got a league game this Saturday against AFC Liverpool. Hopefully turn things around and start getting a bit of momentum.
Well, I'm hoping to catch up with you in a few weeks because I believe you're coming over to Barnholdswick Town in a couple of weeks' time, so that'll be a good opportunity for me to
I'll see you there.
Have a better chat with you. But yeah, it's a good standard of football, and you're learning all the time, I suppose. You're only a young lad. You're only 22.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, definitely good to get them. They play Tuesday and Saturdays most weeks as well, so it's good amount of games, good intensity in the games. Yeah,
who's in charge now at West Didsbury? Who's the gaffer there?
Steve Fettle.
Yeah, I think has he been there for quite some time now?
He's been there for 3 years. This is his third season, I think it is now.
Yeah,
he's been great.
Because people who don't know West Didsbury, it's just on the about 2 or 3 miles outside the city centre of Manchester.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, it's been a pleasure to chat to you this evening, Jack.
Thanks. Thanks to you.
I'll keep in touch and hopefully
I'll see you in a few weeks and we'll have a catch up.
Certainly, I'll bring the video camera along.
Hi.
I'll do some highlights.
Okay, good to talk to you.
Nice one, Jack. Thanks a lot.
All right, take care.
Embracing the football scene on the Rock of Gibraltar with Adam Roberts and Steve Brown.
Well, that was me chatting to Jack Sargent, and a fantastic chap. And as you said before I played the interview, he's certainly looking forward to getting himself back in the international frame.
Yeah, I think he's needed. I think looking at the pool of defenders in the national squad, I think him going forward, Jason Pusey and Aaron Barnett are the future. So should be interesting to see who of those three will get Roy Cipollina's move when he moves on.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll catch up with Jack on several occasions. And another man who's playing some decent football at the moment, we focused on him a few weeks back. I was looking at something on social media. He's just been interviewed by Farsley Celtic, and that's Adam Priestley. He's hoping to be knocking on the door in 2018.
Yeah, he deserves it. I think him and Lee are very similar in the physicality they bring to the game. Maybe pace-wise, not so much, because Lee's an absolute machine when he's on his game. But I think he brings that physicality that we don't really have in the national team. I know Paul Podesta is kind of in that role kind of thing in Glacis United, but apart from that, when you're looking at players like George Guerrera, etc., they're pacey. They're gonna finish 9 times out of 10, but they don't have that physicality. So like when you're playing against people from abroad, and you look at their centre backs, they're 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
And then you look at our players, then about 5'7", 5'8". It is very, very difficult to compete. But from what I've seen, what I'm seeing from Adam Priestley, I hope he can get into the national team soon enough with Jake Gosling and Scott Wiseman.
Yeah, I'm sure he will be back as soon as he possibly can. Well, we were chatting about something last night, and it's all been going crazy on social media over the last 7 days, and it's all been surrounded by reserve team football, I believe, with Red Imps. What's been going on?
Yeah, I have not. It's been a crazy few days, really. I think there's been more happening off the pitch than there's been on it. Well, no, I was just on Facebook. There's this new I think it's football banter group that's on Facebook, and I was just reading through the posts, and I saw one of the dads from a Lincoln Red Imps player was having a go at Europa, as you expect. No, like Europa is kind of this team that everyone hates. It all dates back to when they were playing games with no locals, and obviously at the time it's not a good showing for Gibraltar. A team from Gib and playing there's no locals. So since then they've kind of had this like really bad reputation.
The bogeyman of Gibraltar football.
Yeah, literally. And I was just reading through the comments. I think there was about 120, 150 of them,
Bloody hell.
And really, I think it's just a lot of shit. Obviously, some of the points are true in the way that, that teams should, maybe the reserves should be looking at youth players.
Yeah.
But really, a lot of it is just bullshit, really. I see the people commenting, it's the same ones that are constantly there to bring Europa down. And then I think there are a few Glassie's players were
chirping up as well.
So not Glassie's players, but Glassie's officials,
yeah,
or board people were having a go. But then I think these Glassie's people are the same ones that forget that last season they were only playing with one local. So I think it's a lot of hypocrites out there who think they know what's best for local football, but I think it's it's a lot of crap, really. The
fact is, you can come up with all these great ideas, and maybe some of the ideas that the guys are putting forward are valid. About having, we are here purely to promote the local game and to try and get as many local people playing football. That's one of the reasons why I set up the Gib Footie show, is to embrace the football on the rock. But them rules about the game, they made it at an higher level. It's up to the GFA to get their fucking house in order.
Yeah, exactly that. You hit the nail on the head. The GFA set out their rules for their leagues. And just because other teams do things differently doesn't mean that all the other teams should follow suit.
Yeah, it don't mean that Europa's wrong in doing what they're doing. They're within the guidelines of the league.
Yeah, of course.
They're not breaking any rules, are they?
No, at all. And so what? Just because the players that sit on the bench, they can't play reserves because some people are saying that the youth teams should be playing in reserves. That's bullshit. I think everyone deserves a chance, and just because they're not playing the younger guys doesn't mean they should be treated any different.
But you made a valid point last week. It was something we talked about last week or in week 5, I believe, and that was the fact that they should make the league bigger, maybe have 15 to 18 teams in the Premier, and then the second division could be made up of purely reserve teams, and the other teams that want to play second division football may be made up of another 15 to 18 teams. That way, everyone's gonna get some game time.
Yeah, because you look at it, I think when you're looking at the people of the Premier, they play each other 3 times.
Yeah, where else does that happen?
Exactly, I think it's just ridiculous that in Prem you play each other 3 times. Second division you play each other twice. Obviously, twice maybe you could get away because I think that's how it's done in the Premier League. But to play each other 3 times, surely you can come up with other things that make it a lot more exciting to watch, like the thing of the leagues that to myself and to others it seemed a good idea, but I don't know. I just think the GFA really need to sit down in these next 2 months or sit down in the summer and draw up some guidelines.
I think ultimately the focus has got to be on trying to get as many young people playing the game as possible, and the only way you're going to achieve that is either putting by guidelines in place where you've got to play six locals or 5 locals in a game in the entirety of the match, or you restructure the leagues. That's the only way you're going to do it. But the fundamental and the primary concern is to have as many young players, locals, playing the game on the rock.
Yeah,
it's the only way the national team's going to flourish in the future, or kind of move forward and progress.
Yeah, youth. Obviously, we have a bit of a problem on the rock where the youth players are not getting enough football. But I think that's not just down to the club. I think that's down to the players as well. Then maybe not putting in the time.
Yeah. That
could maybe get them going up the ranks in their club. Obviously, what Lincoln is doing with their youth, putting them in reserves, that's a very good idea.
It's a brilliant idea. It's the way that a football club is usually run, where you have the youth and the reserve team, the fringe players, playing reserve team football, and then there's like a pathway, and there's progression, and they're knocking on the door of the first team, and then they give the manager a couple of kind of selection headaches, and hopefully get themselves on the bench and then get them on the pitch. But at least it's that pathway, and Lincoln seem to be doing it effectively and doing it well.
Yeah, of course. Every team should follow that thing. Should follow what they're doing. But if the GFA don't set these guidelines to say, look, you for next season, your reserves team need to do this, this, and this, and let's say play 6 or 8 players who are under 18, for instance.
Yeah.
Then other teams are not going to do it, because if they don't have to do it, why should they do it? You know what I mean? It's one of those.
Well, exactly. It is one of them. You know, if you don't have to do something, then, you know, and like you say, if people are whinging and whining about it, it's not Europa they need to be whinging at. They need to be going down Irish Town and having a good whinge there.
Yeah, I know, but everyone hates Europa, and it's the same people. Like I said before, it's the same people who are always talking shit about them. So this comes as no surprise.
Yeah. Well, moving swiftly on to this week's predictions and you know, fixtures for this week. We'll start off in the second division. There's only a couple of games this week, and well, anyway, we're going to edit that, but I'll put it in probably. I'm going off at a tangent. I'm going to the 1st of December already, but let's focus on this week and what's going up. You're telling me these the Rock Cup clashes are taking place, and also some Premier League action as well, Adam.
Yep, the Rock Cup is back. We've got the first round is normally second division teams. Once you get some of those, I think it's 3 teams this year in the second division who have got a bye. They join up with the winners of the first round, and then they get pitted against the big boys of the Prem.
So what are the games that are scheduled this week? I can see that 75 are up against Europa Point on Sunday. On Sunday, and then you've got Boca against Cannons. That'll be a good game.
The big one. Yeah, that should be a very good game.
And then, of course, Magpies against Angels, another clash of the Titans. And I'm sure after going down by 3-0 in the league campaign, Magpies will be looking to get some revenge on that one.
Yeah, Magpies are on a good bit of run at the moment. Angels suffered their loss last week, so Magpies may be coming into this game thinking they've got a better chance this time round than they did when they lost last time.
Yeah, and then just moving on to the Premier League, you know, they're all in league action this week. Europa winning last night, had a good 2-0 victory in the end.
Yeah, I was speaking to one of the guys that went down to the game, and they said it was a very tight game. Manchester just 10 people behind the ball and just tried to frustrate Europa as much as they did, and they kept them out for, I think it was about 70 minutes, and then 2 goals in 9 minutes, and they just held on for the win.
Yeah. Well, looking at the game for tonight, Joseph versus Lynx, you'd expect maybe a narrow St Joseph's win.
Yeah, I think like you said, I think you'd expect St Joseph's to win that game, but really looking how Lynx played last week against Europa, defensively and in midfield, they were terrific. They've got two very creative centre mids in Billy and Raul who do a lot for the side, and I think if they can maybe get that finishing touch up front, I think they'll be picking up some points once we come back from the Christmas holidays.
Yeah, so possibly a new signing, get a front man signed on for Lynx, and then push forward going in after Christmas.
Yeah, bring him some goals, because I think so far they've only scored 2 goals all season. Yeah.
Kelpie versus Lynx, or versus Lincoln, sorry. How do you see that one going?
I think you'd expect Lincoln to win. I think looking at them this season, they're a class above the rest. Mons, if you were to speak in this time last season, I'd tell you that Mons Calpe could win this game, but looking how they've been this season, I don't think they're going to get anywhere near to Lincoln.
No. Lions versus Glasses, that's Saturday, a Saturday night game, 6:15. How do you see that one?
That's going to be interesting, I think. I put in my preview that Lions will come out winners, but I think Glasses are very good at frustrating teams, and Lions are one of these sides that if you frustrate them, they're going to get annoyed. they're going to get players sent off, and I think they'll become easy pickings for Glasses if it comes to that.
Yeah, so if Glasses work the head on them, they could get all 3 points.
Yeah, it's all down to game plans.
Yeah. And then United versus Phoenix, another Saturday fixture, and I'm sure one game you'll be attending.
Yeah, both teams are in desperate need of a win. By desperate, I mean they can't afford to lose. Looking at, I think that there's only 4 points between 2nd and 8th. Neither team can afford to slip up. Gibraltar United more than Phoenix, because I think looking at St. Joseph's and Europa and Lions, if they carry on winning, Gib United are going to fall down the pecking order, and I think once you open up a bit of a gap, I don't think they'll be able to close it.
No. And then, of course, we've got Lynx versus 62 on Tuesday evening.
Yeah, the final match day 9. After that, the first round of fixtures are over. That should be a good game. Both teams on the lower half of the table, as you'd expect. I'm not expecting anything. I'm not expecting a 5-goal thriller or anything. So I think it's going to be one of these 1-0, 2-1 wins if there is one.
Brilliant. Well, that's another week wrapped up in the can. Hopefully, I can download this one.
Please don't delete it this time.
Well, I tell you what, we're not bloody doing it again. That is for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's been an absolute pleasure, and week 8 next week. All right, mate. Same time, same place.
Yep. I don't think this is the first time we're not saying good night. No, I guess it's good afternoon or something. It's weird.
Good afternoon with a nice cup of coffee in my hand.
Yeah, I just finished my tea, so it's time to make lunch.
See you later, mate.
Anyways, mate, see you.
Bye-bum.
Embracing the football scene on the Rock of Gibraltar with Adam Roberts and Steve Brown.